G'day guys, Disney Dave coming at you once again from Down Under. I've just got back from the cinemas from my second viewing of Beauty and the Beast. I thought I'd just do a very short little retrospective video before you all get tired of me like spamming your account with all these different Beauty and the Beast reviews. I promise this is going to be the last one where I'm going to be talking about the movie, but I feel like now that the movie is open pretty much worldwide, I can talk about a few more specific things that I felt a little uncomfortable speaking about in the first review, in case I spoiled a few things for people. I was being very conscious about what I did say in the original reviews, just in case I accidentally let a couple of spoilers out of the bag. But I feel like I can talk a little bit more about it now. I think it's pretty much out worldwide. Everyone who really wanted to see it has most likely seen it by now. Of course, I understand there are people out there who probably can't get to the cinemas so often and maybe haven't seen the movie yet. So if you don't want too much spoiled, maybe turn this video off and come back to it later when you have watched the movie. I'm not going to like spoil too much. I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, but I do want to speak about a few more specific things than I did last time. What did I think about the movie coming out of it a second time? Is probably the question that you are asking. Well, what did I think of it? I was raving about this movie when I came out of it the first time, and you could not get me to shut up about this movie for weeks. I praised it, I gave it 5 stars, I went on and on and on about how great this movie is. How do I feel about it after a second viewing though? I feel exactly the same. I cannot lie, I feel exactly the same. This movie is everything. This movie is life. Hang on a minute, I didn't show you this. Yeah, I got another one of those Bell Pop vinyls. This one is Castle Grounds Bell. I still haven't got, what's this? Villager Bell, and I haven't got this one. I don't really want these ones, but I want to get this one, but it's like some Walmart exclusive thing, and of course we don't have Walmarts here, and we don't get the Walmart exclusive pop vinyl anywhere here. So I got to try and track that down somehow on eBay or whatever, but I'm going to find it. Anyway, I'm getting off track. This movie is amazing. I loved it for a second time, and I felt like I could focus on the story a little bit more. I did, as always is the case when you watch a movie for a second or a third time, you tend to pick up a lot more things that maybe you missed the first time. Especially with Beauty and the Beast, it's very easy to miss a lot of stuff in the first viewing because you're just so overwhelmed and just because it's just so visually stimulating and emotionally charged, and there's just a lot going on to take in. But this time I was able to focus on a few things. People did ask me a few questions in the comments on the last few videos where I just kind of had to go, I actually don't remember, because it wasn't that I wasn't paying attention, there was just a few things I just didn't pick up on that I didn't take notice of at the time. One thing I did actually quite enjoy this time, I said in the first one, the new songs sort of felt jarring to me and took me out of the movie. I think this time, having more time to process the fact that this is a very different take on the film than the animated one, I actually quite enjoyed the new songs. I actually really enjoyed them, and it didn't feel like it took me out of the movie too much this time, which was really good. And I did enjoy Dan Stevens' song Evermore. The first time that was the one that really stuck out to me as a song that just really took me out of the film, but I really enjoyed it this time round, and just all the other new songs I thought were fantastic as well. I will stand by my earlier statement though that the music is still nowhere near as good as the music that Howard Ashman wrote for the first movie. As hard as Tim Rice has tried to imitate his voice, and he's done it many times in the past, as I said in the last video, he was tasked to finish off the songs in Aladdin after Ashman passed away. He also wrote a couple of songs for the Beauty and the Beast Broadway show, but he just can't, that voice that Howard Ashman had is just so irreplaceable and so unique, and no one can imitate that. Now, Tim Rice has done some great stuff. The music he wrote for The Lion King is incredible and some of my favorite Disney music ever, but when you are trying to put yourself in another artist's shoes and write like another artist, you're never going to come anywhere near them, no matter who you are. That's the only one little pickle I have with the new songs, but otherwise I really enjoyed them. Now, I absolutely raved about Emma Watson's performance the first time I saw the movie, and I just couldn't stop talking about her because I was just infatuated with her performance in the movie as Belle. She really is incredible as Belle. But this time, I sort of was able to focus on a few more of the other performances in this film as well. Luke Evans is incredible in this film. For the second viewing, he was really one of the standouts for me. Even Josh Gad, I mean, his performance is so layered. I'm sure you've all heard about the specific undertones that are played out in his character. The first time I went into it, I didn't try to think about that too much, but the second time I was trying to pick up on whatever little undertones he was trying to play into that character. And look, this second viewing, it was actually quite a little bit more obvious than it was for me in the first viewing. Certainly nothing wrong with it. Certainly I have no issue with it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great portrayal of the character. And I still think it's just people have just blown everything completely out of proportion. But I will say, after seeing it this time, it certainly is there a little bit. Not enough to cause a big fuss or boycott the movie over. Both of those two performances were fantastic, but the absolute standout for me, Ewan McGregor as Lemieux. Specifically in that scene at the end where they turn back into their human forms and you actually get to see the actors who voice the characters. Ewan McGregor, man. Just big smile on my face when I saw him there. He's so cool. He was awesome, and I think he's great in this movie. Now, the added stuff into the movie I really enjoyed as well. I enjoyed it the first time round, but I enjoyed it even more so this time round, because the last time, again, I was just overwhelmed with absolutely everything else that was going on, and the nostalgia wave was just insane. I did say in the first review that I really enjoyed all the sort of newer backstories that they added and the newer scenes they added with Belle and the Beast, but I don't think I really appreciated how much that plays on the story until I've seen it this second time. The stuff with Belle's mother really adds layers to this movie. It not only fills in plot holes in the movie, in the original animation. Where is Belle's mother? It's something I never really thought about too much, and it wasn't something that I thought about going into the movie the first time. But coming into it, after having, thought about it a little bit, going into it, it really does layer the story. And it adds this depth to the relationship between Belle and her father that wasn't there in the first movie. And Belle's father in this one is just so much more sweet and tender and kind, and he's more of a real person as opposed to just this crazy cartoon buffoon. And that was something I really appreciated more so in this viewing than the last one, was that relationship between Belle and her father. And through the backstory of Belle's mother, we get a little bit more depth, not only to Belle's father, but the relationship between them. And I thought that was a really beautiful touch about this story. I think that was narratively the best decision for this movie. As I said in the last one, this movie has a runtime of 130 minutes, whereas the original one is only 80 minutes long. That's 50 minutes. It's close to an hour of extra stuff that they did have to add. And look, after the first screening, I went back and I watched the animation, and it sort of, no matter how many times I had watched the animation, I never really paid attention to the fact that it was so short and narratively wasn't that deep. Especially in this second viewing, it makes it so clear how much deeper this story actually goes. Not only on an emotional level, but on a narrative level. And this feels more real, and it has to because it's live action, it's not cartoon. Not everything has to be spelled out for someone who's watching an animation. Whereas in a live action, it takes a little bit more to draw an audience in and suspend your belief for that world when it's in live action. In animation, you just have to suspend your belief because it's a moving drawing. But live action, it's a little harder to suspend that belief, and all these things that they added really do help with that, and they really were needed. A lot of people are saying it wasn't needed in the animation, why was it needed here? It's needed. It definitely is needed, or else this would be a really messy movie as a live action. I also noticed in the second viewing, the role of the Enchantress was huge, and I didn't really pay attention to it in the first viewing. Of course, the Enchantress goes under the guise of Agatha in the village. She's the only one that really knows what is going on. She is there along the way. She's basically the muse of the movie, the muse of the characters, trying to get the events rolling, trying to get everything happening. She's the one thing that drives this story, and I didn't notice that as much the first time, but after you know who she actually is, you go back and you watch all these subtle ways the filmmakers have slotted her character into the film at all these really important moments. She comes into the story at a really pivotal scene, or they cut to her at a really important moment, or after a really important line of dialogue, and you just kind of go, wow, look how much of a role they've actually given her, and look how important she actually is. She is there for every pivotal moment of the movie. I think that was fantastic. This movie is so layered, it's so deep, and every time I know I'm going to go back to it, I'm going to see something more and more different. I absolutely love this movie after the first viewing, and I love it even more after this second viewing. Now, you're probably asking, did I cry in this one? Not until the end. I thought it was going okay until Ewan McGregor changed from a candlestick into a man. I sort of lost it again. Because it's so sweet, it's so touching, that end scene where they all turn into humans again and they're all back together with their loved ones. It's so happy and just amazing. It's amazing. So anyway, they are my second thoughts on the movie. And now that most of you have actually seen the movie, I can open up a forum down in the comments. Tell me, what did you think about the movie? What did you like? What didn't you like? Etc, etc, etc. Tell me down in the comments below any thoughts you had on the movie, whether they be positive, whether they be negative. I want to hear it all. Because last time I couldn't really open that forum because no one had seen it. I saw it about 2 or 3 weeks earlier than everyone else, and I've just been trying to bite my tongue. I really want to talk about this movie now. I want to get the ball rolling, actually talk about things I couldn't talk about before. Anyway, that is it. If this is the very first video of mine you have watched, you're a first time viewer and you've liked what you've seen, please do me a big solid, and after the jump, hit subscribe. To all my regular viewers, thank you once again for watching. It means the world to me. To absolutely everybody out there, I hope I'll see you again soon. Until then though guys, take care, and I hope you have a magical day.